Hello, and welcome to English Digest. I'm Seb.
And I'm Elsie.
How are you today, Elsie?
I'm feeling pretty good, but it's been so cold recently.
I'm kind of tired as well because I spent so much time last night surfing the internet.
Oh, you were surfing the internet.
Yes.
So how much time do you normally spend on your phone every day?
That's a good question. I don't know for the internet, but for my phone, I would say maybe 4 hours a day.
4 hours
I
a day.
think, because you know on your iPhone you can measure how long you're on your phone.
Yeah, so I just checked my phone and I spend about 4.5 hours every day on my phone.
Okay, to be honest, I think mine is also closer to 4.5 hours.
4.5,
I just
right?
felt embarrassed to say it.
So what do you usually use your phone for?
I use it for a lot of different things, actually. So I listen to a lot of music. I really like listening to audiobooks as well.
Oh, nice.
I think I listen to like one audiobook a month, or maybe even once every 2 weeks, a new one. And also I use it for work too. So I can go on Google Docs. I can write the notes for this lesson, actually, on my phone. So I do lots of different things on my phone. And Instagram, too.
So for me, besides chatting with my friends, I also shop a lot on my phone. Do you do that too?
Yes, I do. That's pretty dangerous, actually. Like, I can definitely lose 2 hours of my day just scrolling through Shopee or PC Home or ASOS too. I really like to buy clothes, so
yeah,
ASOS
and you'll lose your money too.
Yes, exactly, and all my money goes away. So I have to come back here.
So I guess today we're talking about internet?
We are talking about the internet. We're talking about one feature of the internet, and that's kind of why we began by talking about our online habits, right? The things that we do online. But we're talking about a feature that may factor into some of those habits, right? So, for example, do you use YouTube?
I do.
You use YouTube. And your account, so on your account on YouTube, does that have your real name?
Oh, no, just my nickname.
Your nickname, right, I see. So it's difficult for people to find out who you are then, right? Like, it's not clear. So that is basically an example of online anonymity, and that is what we're going to be talking about today. So let's begin by taking a look at the topic and instructions. Okay, so our topic for today is like this. The internet not only makes communicating more convenient, it also has an important characteristic: online anonymity. Online anonymity can let people remain anonymous and hide their identities online. Please write an essay of about 120 words and 2 paragraphs, explaining whether or not you are in favor of online anonymity. Your second paragraph should address counterpoints to your argument and the reasons people may agree with them. Okay, so I just mentioned that word counterpoint. Now, a counterpoint, that's one word, counterpoint, is a reason or point of argument that counters or goes against your main argument. So, for example, if we're having a debate about nuclear power, and I say, I don't know, I say I believe that nuclear power is bad because it is dangerous. You know, plants can explode, they can set on fire, and terrible environmental catastrophes can happen. Well, a counterpoint to that might be that nuclear power helps people rely less on fossil fuel. So it's an argument from the other side. And so that really helps your argument. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute.
OK， 所以在今天的作文当中啊，你还要提到的是 counterpoints， 也就是反面的论点。好，刚刚 Seb 有做解释了。那还有一个东西是 internet anonymity. What is it, Seb?
Right. So anonymity comes from anonymous, which is a very difficult word to say, which basically means not having a name. Okay, so for example, Elsie, if you find a mysterious letter on your desk and it has a message on it but no name, no one has signed it, then that's an anonymous letter. You don't know who sent the letter. So we can describe anything as anonymous if normally it has a name or it's just impossible to find the identity of the person who wrote it. So being anonymous, that is, or the state of being anonymous, is called anonymity. And that is just the act or the state or the condition of not letting people know your name.
OK， 所以我们刚刚看到呢，这个提示里面英文部分说 Internet Anonymity 用到的是名词的部分，代表的是网络匿名这件事情。那提到的Anonymous 形容词，那就是匿名的这样的解释。那写作提示给的是呢，网络除了让沟通更为便利之外，还存在着一个重要的特性，也就是网络匿名性。网络匿名性呢，让使用者可以隐藏自己的真实身份。不过网络匿名性一直都存在着许多支持跟反对的论点。请你根据这样的一个主题写一篇英文作文，文长至少是120个单词，文分2段哦，要特别注意。第一段说明你是否支持网络匿名性，并说原因。第二段则要说明反面论点以及可能的原因，也就是我们刚刚说到的 Counterpoints。
Exactly. So, internet anonymity is when people can go online and read, write, create, or share things without letting people know their real name. Okay, so just like with your YouTube account, it just has your nickname. So people who meet you for the first time on YouTube won't know who you are. And another example could be, say, if you have an Instagram account. On Instagram, people don't always put their real names. They might just put a funny account name, for example. So they could use a fake name and not upload a picture of themselves. So that would be an anonymous account, or the account user would have internet anonymity. So you can have internet anonymity whether you are a content creator or regular internet user. It just depends if you give your real name or not, okay? So Elsie, are there any times you think it's better to hide your identity online? Or any times that might make people feel more comfortable?
I think if you try to leave some bad reviews for a restaurant or a hotel, you might want to be anonymous.
Yes, that's very true. So I think...
Have you ever done that?
I've left bad reviews, but I
With your real name.
On my Google Maps, I use my real name. So, and it has a picture of me, so you can tell I don't like something.
I always use the nickname when I was trying to leave some bad reviews.
Oh, really? Well, that's very good because people have this condition, we all have this condition called social desirability. And so desirability, or to desire, is to like something. We want to be liked. And so often we might not say our true feelings if people know who we are, because we're scared about, we want to look good in front of people. So I think times when you have to be honest, it can be helpful to be anonymous,
Yeah, and I don't want those bosses or owners to come to find me and kill me.
Exactly. You might want to go back to that restaurant. You might have just had a bad time.
Right.
And you want them to get better and you want to go back again. But it's not always good. We could also say internet anonymity, some bad parts of internet anonymity. That could be that people could be really mean as well. Because just as anonymity lets you be more honest if you're scared about talking about your feelings, it can also make you a little bit inconsiderate of other people, Because if I'm hidden behind a screen, then how do you know who I am? How can you get back at me if I say something mean to you? I can say horrible things and I'll be safe.
Right, there are so many trolls, right?
Exactly, there are a lot of trolls. A troll, normally when we say troll, we mean like a monster who lives under a bridge. But on the internet, a troll is somebody who writes horrible things, basically. Just tries to get a ride out of you, make you really angry or really upset about something. So that is a negative side of internet anonymity. So obviously that's what we're going to be talking about today in our writing assignment, and we're going to be doing that in the form of an argumentative essay. So let's move on to how we're going to develop our approach.
好，我们先看一下何谓论说文。 Argumentative essay 我们要注意到的是论说文包含的是论和说的部分，两个部分。那论呢，指的是对主题的见解和主张，属于比较主观的论断。那说呢，指的是解说和分析主题，属于比较客观的说明。常见的论说文类型有第一种，剖析某事物的缺点、优点和利害得失。第二个是比较两事物的优缺点。第三个是说明某事物的影响或是重要性。面对这样子的题目呢，我们必须要提出理由，加以举证，分析原因，然后说明结果才可以哦。
Yes, so we're going to be writing an argumentative essay. So an argumentative essay is an essay where we address a topic by explaining it and then giving our informed opinion about it. So you'll see the word argumentative comes from the word argument, which can be arguing.But it can also be your reasons and your logic for believing something. And that's really what an argumentative essay is about. It's about saying what you think about something and then giving informed opinions about it. Now, an informed opinion is not just I like it because it's good. An informed opinion is using facts and using data and doing research to back up your argument. So you have a very clear, very detailed reason and very well-researched reason for thinking what you think. We're really trying to be persuasive. You're trying to get the reader to agree with you by the time you finish writing. So you want to use a lot of very persuasive language. We don't want to say, I think, or maybe. We want to say very direct things, it's bad because X, Y, Z, that kind of thing.
好，再来呢，我们要注意的是，我们要写什么，还有怎么写。那英文作文的架构基本上分为引言 （introduction）、主体 （body）、结论 （conclusion）。这个在其实每一篇作文当中都是适用的哈，那类似中文的起承转合，而本篇论说文呢也是用这样的架构发展哦。Introduction 是文章的引言，说明文章要探讨的主题。全文的主旨句也就是 Thesis Statement 就在第一段要把它点出来。那论说文的 Introduction 呢，可以有以下几种写法，像是第一个，解释主题，并且说明要探讨这个主题的缘由；第二个，说明一般人或是专家对这个主题的看法；第三个，统计或学理上的报道和诠释；第四个，清楚表达个人的看法或所支持的论点。好，可以用4种当中选一个来进行。再来呢，就要到body 的部分，也就是文章的主体，必须要呢立论清楚，具有说服力哦，做出合理的说明，并且加上佐证的细节，也就是我们说的 supporting details 是非常重要的。那佐证的时候呢，可以用一段或是多段来说明。在说明某事物的重要性的时候，常见的写法有什么呢？第一个，反驳或赞同一般人对此主题的看法；第二个，举例支持自己的论点。可以提供自己或他人的经验、统计报道、科学研究等等。再来呢，第三个呢，就是举例来推翻反面的论点。那 conclusion 就是文章的结尾了。结论部分呢，我们可以用简单的总结，或是重申前面所提过的要点，也可以提出建议。这样的方式的结论呢，可以让论述更加明确。
Exactly. So that's a very good narrative structure. We've got an introduction to make it clear what we're talking about and to give our thesis statement. We've got a body which has the supporting details and the different reasons why we think what we think, and then a conclusion to sum up our opinion and really convince the reader of what we're trying to say. So that's one way that we can write it. But another way that we can think about our introduction, our body, and conclusion for argumentative essays would be the following. So for your introduction, you can address and explain the topic. So because you're going to be convincing somebody about your opinion of online anonymity, you need to make sure first that they understand what online anonymity is. Maybe you can also give some background, talk about what might have happened with this topic recently, maybe in the news, or you could give some statistics, give some numbers about online anonymity. Is it making teenagers feel very sad? Or, is there some data by the Taiwanese government, for example, about online anonymity? Those are really good things to put in an introduction. So from there, we would move on to your opinion, which is kind of, in this case, for an argumentative essay, that's your thesis statement. So you want to clearly state what you think about it. Don't be ambiguous, be very clear. I like it, I don't like it, and here are the reasons why. From there, we need to go on to your reasoning, and your reasoning is the logic. Why do you feel the way you do? You want to give persuasive examples. So again, that could be some more numbers and statistics. It could be recent events, or it could even be your own experiences if you have relevant experiences to share. That's particularly good in a lot of these writing assignments for your exams. And fourth, we can go in with your counterpoints. So you'll remember at the beginning I talking about counterpoints. Why would you want to do this? Well, when you consider the opposite opinion to the one you have, your argument looks much stronger because it shows that you've thought about all the different factors and all the different reasons for a problem, and you've still come out with the same conclusion that it's good or bad. So by showing that you've considered the counterpoints, you're going to have a much stronger argument. Now, I'm not trying to say that you should write half your essay on why it's good and half your essay on why it's bad. You'll want to also say, I'm against internet anonymity. Some people are in favor of it, but they're wrong for these reasons. You're being aware of them, but you're still sticking to your guns. You're still sticking to your original opinion. And lastly, we have the conclusion. So your conclusion, obviously, you're going to go back to your main argument or stance. So what's changed because of the information you've shared? Or have these points added anything to your original opinion? You also might want to consider what might happen in the future with internet anonymity. Is there something good or bad on the horizon? Is something good or bad going to happen?
好，所以我们再整理一下哦。大概呢就是5个步骤。第一个 introduce 这个 topic， 解释主题，介绍主题，再来就是提出自身的意见，你的 opinion 是什么？接下来就是你的理由，再来提出反面论点，最后就是做出 conclusion， 做出结论的部分。好，那再来呢，我们要到 brainstorming 咯。针对这一类需要分析优缺点的文章，我们可以透过以下的表格来列出优缺点。那先将利弊都列出来之后，我们就可以清楚看到我们自己的观点，再将这些观点列成文章的 outline。Okay,
yes. We can use the chart in your magazines to talk about the pros and cons of a topic. So if you look at your magazines now, you've got this long arrow with cons and pros. So the cons are the bad things about something, and the pros are the good things about something. So to begin, I think what you can do is make 2 lists on a piece of paper, one for cons and one for pros. So what are all the good things and what are all the bad things? Elsie, should we take a look at some of the examples we've got in the magazine?
Sure, 所以我们呢这边就看到了2列，好，一边是 cons， 一边是 pros， 缺点优点各有什么呢？ So first one allows people to easily attack each other.Mm-hmm. That's one of the cons, right?
Right, that's a very bad thing, right?
是的。
That's something good about that.
What about the pros?
Examples of the pros, we could say that it's a form of free speech. Okay, so, a lot of people, it's very important to a lot of people that they're able to say what they want to say. In fact, it's very important that we can safely express ourselves. Okay, so that's a good thing about internet anonymity. So make a list of these, and once you've finished your list, maybe write down 4 or 5, you can see that some of them will be more negative and more positive than others. Some of them might be slightly good and slightly bad. Other ones might be very good and very bad. So what you can do from there is draw a line between each bullet point and a point on your pros and cons arrow. Okay, so you can show which ones are more good and which ones are more bad. The reason for this is you're obviously only going to be writing about 120 words plus, and you're only going to have a certain amount of time in your exam, so you might not be able to write everything you want to say. This arrow is going to help you plan out what is best to include when you don't have much time or space. Okay, so from here, I think we can move on to talking about our outline. Now, We always talk about outlines on English Digest, and that's because outlines are so important. An outline is a list of points that helps you get your ideas in order so you can write a well-structured and easy-to-read passage. Trust me, it's a lot easier than just randomly writing out all your thoughts as they come to you. By doing this, by creating a good outline, before you start writing, you're going to be able to balance your argument much more, and you're going to avoid spending much too long writing your introduction and not having enough time to finish at the end of your exam. Shall we jump in and see how the magazine has given us our example outline?
Yeah, and our topic sentences.
Yes, of course, our topic sentences are very important. So let's start by looking at the introduction and the first paragraph. So our introduction in the outline is anyone can hide their identity online. This kind of actually does explain what internet anonymity is, but it also shows that it's a common thing. So that's a good idea to include in your introduction. The first paragraph says, I'm not in favor of people being able to do this. It allows people to easily attack each other online. This affects people's real lives. It's hard to get the police or social media companies to do anything about it. Okay, so this is really good. You can see that the writer has used their list of ideas from the brainstorming section and picked one of the most negative ones as their leading point. So when you're trying to convince somebody, you want to use a strong argument right from the beginning. You want a strong reason to persuade them to believe what you believe. Okay, so they've done that, and they've then expanded on it by saying, people can attack each other online, but this has real consequences.
OK, 到了第二段的时候呢，就要提出 Counterpoints， 也就是反面论点，还有可能的原因哦。所以我们看到 Topic Sentence 2， 主题句第二句，作者写出来的是 I accept that online anonymity does have some benefits。他接受网络匿名是有好处的，然后提出原因 It helps people to talk about things without being judged in their regular lives. 还有就是 people can discuss different topics in safe spaces. 那最后就到了 concluding sentence 结论句的部分了。I believe online anonymity does more harm than good because of its potential for abuse.好，所以呢，我们这个作者啊，他是不赞同这件事情的。好，所以他在第一段提出来，那在第二段的时候呢，提出反面论点，最后再做出结论。
So basically, the writer is repeating their original opinion, but they're connecting all of those reasons they gave. They're saying, I believe it's bad, it does more harm than good, because of its potential for abuse. So because of the potential for people to attack each other. So let's take a break here, and then when we're back, we can take a look at our basic sample and our advanced sample. Basic sample. Anyone can hide their identity online. It's as simple as choosing a username or using a new email address to create a profile. However, I'm not in favor of people being able to do this. For me, the biggest problem with online anonymity is that it allows people to easily attack each other online. They can hide behind a fake username and say horrible things. This affects people's real lives, and it's very hard to get the police or social media companies like Twitter and Facebook to do anything about it. I accept that online anonymity does have some benefits. I think it helps people talk about things without being judged in their regular lives. People can discuss politics, religion, sex, and other topics in safe spaces. On the whole, though, I believe online anonymity does more harm than good because of its potential for abuse. Okay, so our basic sample is quite straightforward. It follows the general pattern that we looked at in our outline and our brainstorming. So I think we can go straight through and look at some of the vocabulary in this passage. So the first word I want to talk about is profile. Now, a profile is basically an account that you have online. It's an account about your personal information. Another word is judge and be judged. If you judge someone, you're deciding whether you think they're good or bad based on their actions. And often we use this in a negative way. So I might see somebody wearing some cheap shoes and judge them based on their cheap shoes. Think, oh, that person isn't stylish. That person doesn't have money because they're not wearing nice shoes. That's an example of judging someone.
那再来呢，我要特别提到的是他怎么样带出自己的想法、自己的意见，像是他说 However, I'm not in favor of be in favor of 或是 be not in favor of 那就是赞同或不赞同某件事情。再来呢，还有第二段的地方，他用到 I accept that 开头代表我接受某事，来提出他的 counterpoints 反面论点是很好的。最后呢，他用 on the whole 也就是总的来说 I believe 我相信我赞成什么事情，好，再重申自己的意见一次。所以呢，这些用法呢，同学们可以把它们学起来哦。
Exactly. Okay, so let's move on now and take a look at the advanced sample. Advanced sample. The ability to become anonymous is a vital part of what the internet offers. While this issue is certainly problematic, my overall opinion is that online anonymity is beneficial. One of the key reasons for this is the concept of free speech. The anonymity offered by the internet allows people to share their beliefs without fear of consequences in the real world. Anyone living in a repressive country or community understands the significance of this. It allows them to be critical of their leaders and not get arrested, or discuss taboo topics in safety. Imagine people from a deeply conservative religious community discussing LGBTQ+ issues, for example. In addition to all this, online anonymity allows whistleblowers to expose law-breaking companies or organizations without being targeted by them. Admittedly, there are some disadvantages to online anonymity as well. It can cause distrust because we don't know who's posting something and what their motivations are. To take an example from above, a whistleblower might not be a person exposing real wrongdoing, but someone with a grudge against their boss. Online anonymity means that we can never truly take anything we read online at face value. Furthermore, there is the issue of cyberbullying and online abuse. However, I believe this is a problem with people. Online anonymity is simply a tool, and people can use it or abuse it as they see fit. I, however, am of the opinion that its advantages outweigh its disadvantages. Okay, so it sounds like the advanced sample doesn't agree with the basic sample. We've got a counter argument, we could say. Just like we have counterpoints, this is a counter argument. It's an argument from the other side. So let's firstly look at this word problematic. So when something is problematic, that's an adjective, by the way, it has problems, it has issues. It's not necessarily bad, but there are things that need to be improved about it. So they're saying that internet anonymity has lots of benefits, but it's also got some issues that need to be addressed. So they're not saying it's perfect. They're saying it's better, it's more good than it is bad, basically.
再来呢，我们还看到一个名词是 whistleblower。好，这个字还蛮有趣的，所以我想要特别说一下 ，whistle 是口哨、哨子 ，blower 是吹的人，所以这个 whistleblower 代表的是第一个举报的人、告密的人。这个字同学们可以把它学起来。Okay, I think we're running out of time here.
Yes, we are, unfortunately. I really recommend you guys take a closer look at this passage and some of the vocabulary that's being used. And we will join you later in the month for our translation and our picture writing exercise. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.